Great Uncle Jaime.
It was Great Uncle
Tell me
Jaime.
about Great Uncle Jaime.
So Great Uncle Jaime was part of family folklore suggests that Great Uncle Jaime was part of the Aldgate mob. When it became clear that the government weren't going to block Mosley's march, which 100,000 people had signed a petition asking the Home Secretary to do, a group of Jewish men and women got together and collected weaponry, and by weaponry it was whatever they could get.
Snooker cues, the chair legs, things like that.
Anything they get. Every coffee shop, every snooker hall was visited. Anything that was wood that could be turned into a weapon was collected. Jaime then helped also collect money in order to see if they could bribe ineffectually the police to look the other way, and they got ready for what was 80 years ago a great street battle.
And do we know what happened to your great uncle during the course of that? Did he get arrested? Did he get injured? What happened?
He managed to evade arrest. He did get hurt in one of the fights, but he also gave as good as he got. So Great Uncle Jaime did what needed to be done.
Now, what do you think the lessons are for today? I was talking there about anti-Semitic abuse appearing to be on the rise, but more broadly, the issue of racism and hate crime. It hasn't gone away from British society, has it?
No, intolerance definitely hasn't gone anywhere. Before I got elected, I ran Hope Not Hate, and we've seen politicians for decades use vile hate political rhetoric, the BNP, now UKIP. You've just been talking about Donald Trump in the States. So evil, hate-filled rhetoric hasn't gone away, and it has genuine issues and impact on communities. It's had a real impact since Brexit. We've got to be standing firm. I'm doing some work on a cross-party basis to see how we can encourage other colleagues to manage their rhetoric in this period of negotiation. But we've got to be really vigilant. And social media has made it easy for people to write down, put on record whatever they think without any consideration of the long-term consequences.
Have you found a bit of that yourself? I mentioned that. What have you had thrown at you?
Oh, I think I don't look at my social media feeds anymore. There's no benefit to that. The sheer volume over the summer was appalling. And I experienced it myself from the volume of abuse that is online, and how that then leads to death threats that are tangible, real death threats.
Well, let's talk about trying to sort it out. I mean, of course, you're a member of a considerably strong party itself, and you had that recent review into anti-Semitism carried out by Baroness Chakrabarti. Do you think that was enough? Do you think that the Labour Party, your own party now, is facing up to it?
I think Jeremy Corbyn gave his strongest statement condemning anti-Semitism in his speech at Labour Party conference, and I welcome that. I still think we've got a very, very long way to go. We saw events even at Labour Party conference of anti-Semitic abuse on stalls and around conference, and I think that if that's the case inside Her Majesty's opposition party, we've still got a long way to go. But I welcome the efforts that have been done thus far, and now we've got to remain vigilant.
To do. And what about broadening it out? You touched on it there. I touched on it as well. The issue of hate crimes, and we're going to see a report coming out fairly soon on whether they actually have increased since the Brexit vote. What's your understanding, even from your own constituency?
In my constituency, there's been a definite spike in hate crime post-Brexit. Over 100% increase in hate crime that's been reported. I'm more concerned about those people that don't feel empowered enough to report it. So I've written to every EU national in my constituency to reassure them that I will help them with the things that they might need in the coming months. And that led to a number of them contacting me about the abuse that they were seeing on the street and how they felt, and no one had reported it to the police. So I think that we've got to be really clear about what is the official increase, and also how the culture is changing and what we need to do to stand up to that at every level.
Just let me take you back to Cable Street. There's a historian wrote a while back about the British Union of Fascists. That was the organisation led by Oswald Mosley. We're actually quite pleased about the turnout, because it was waning at the time, and that it helped recruit members, because they thought, oh, this looks like something we'd like to get involved in. The issue of confronting the fascists. Why not just let them, walk down, get away with it?
Well, I think it's really clear we've got to always have that fight. I would argue we've killed the BNP, for example, as a political entity, but we haven't beat their ideology. So fascism always needs confronted. Racism, hate needs confronted. It's how you go about it. And let's remember that the Battle of Cable Street occurred because government didn't listen when communities asked for help. Everyone needs to learn lessons from what happened at Cable Street. But then we also need to understand the concept of solidarity and what was on that day working class solidarity. Ruth
Smith, very good to see you. Thank you very much indeed, and some wonderful memories there of Uncle Jaime and the Battle of Cable Street.